come on, man. And with the local DBC news, LL Cool J with a triumphant comeback. Or a solo. But tonight, don't call it a comeback.
This is Rumor Has It, and I'm Jacki Bray. And now let's get to this week's story. And I don't know if this story is really funny or really sad. I haven't come to a conclusion, but maybe you will after hearing the details. Jose Villaseñor, a 6-foot, 185-pound cage fighter with a professional record of 27-8, was allegedly battered by his ex-girlfriend, former ice skater and television reporter Alana Gold, during a domestic dispute. Apparently, Gold caught Villaseñor cheating and was not about to take it lying down. Gold reportedly drove to Villaseñor's Albuquerque home and from her car window pulled the string out of his hooded sweatshirt, took his garage door opener, and refused to return it. Now, apparently in New Mexico, those acts qualify as a single count of battery and larceny. Now, to top it off too, Gold apparently called Villaseñor 50 times in 2 hours before police arrived and saw her intimidatingly waiting outside his home. So are you ready for the kicker? Because Gold stands at every bit an intimidating 5 feet tall. Kimbo Slice, she is not. Now, like me, you may be curious how a 5 foot tall woman weighing 110 pounds can be intimidating, but who are we to judge? Because maybe she was wearing her ice skates and threatened to triple sow cow his nuts off. I don't know. I wasn't there.
Number one, those are sharp.
That's what I'm saying.
Skates.
If she was wearing her ice skates, then I get it. But, I mean, either way, the sissy knocks people out for a living, and he's claiming pulling a string from a sweatshirt is battery. Like, really, New Mexico? I mean, I get it's annoying when you have to thread it back and everything, but it's a far cry from bodily harm. And Jayar, I wanted to ask you, would you or have you ever been intimidated by a 5 foot tall woman who may or may not have assaulted your sweatshirt?
No, number one. But the thing is I'm really trying to find a way to see where he's coming from, because of course it could be like the whole the society, how much we want to say, oh God, this woman can't me, and now she battered me, because then the first thought we think is this guy could have beat her ass, and we would think automatically this guy's gonna beat her ass because he's a raging fighter.
Right.
So, but I'm really trying to find a way to defend him. I'm trying to find a way around, somehow to see at least his point of view. Because she was intimidatingly outside of his house. Waving a gun? I mean, there's some things that can be
apparently
intimidating.
It was just a garage door remote and a string from a hoodie.
But the thing is, well, she's 5 foot 110. He's what, 185?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense. But then again, it sounds like I have a friend who's a divorce attorney.
Okay.
And he says the things that couples get into, and he said he feels like a babysitter half the time.
Ooh.
He'll tell the guy, just don't go by her house at all. And he's just mad about something that happened. This is, of course, he was cheating on her or something like this particular case. But so then when all this happens, they start acting like kids. So he's like, well, she pulled my drawstring out of my hat. So like all he wants to do is just get back without trying to actually do anything else physical. Because then he's like, I'm going to jail for the rest of my life if I even touch this woman. So she sounds a little crazy. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I hate the term sometimes. Take it like a man. Calm down. And you actually come out looking better at the end of it all.
Right. I totally agree with you. He needs to make sure he's not going to get himself in any trouble. But, I mean, she's so small. But I do get it, because I've been cheated on. I've never done anything like this. But we get mad. But I usually like to just move on. But, I mean, I understand how scary a mad woman can be. But, I mean, if your job is to fight people, I'm not saying, knock her out. I would never say that. But, I mean, at least you could, restrain her.
Yeah, I'm saying,
something.
what's the level of, it's sometimes is a question, because sometimes women attack.
Right, yeah.
And you can be 185 pounds and you still have vulnerable points on your body. We're not going to get to all of them.
Right.
If you grab her and maybe she has a bruise arm. Oh my God, he beat me! It's just
she could turn it into a whole bunch.
Yeah, so like you gotta find the happy medium. And if you call the police, people are like, oh, look at this pussy. Call the police. So I can see where it's coming. It's just he went too far with.
Yeah.
Oh, but she took my drawstring. I mean, you got to find something because
Well,
he didn't do anything to him.
maybe she just went and clawed at him, and the only thing she got was the string from the sweatshirt.
And don't forget the garage door opener.
Oh, and the garage door opener is very important.
You can't park your truck without your garage. So I mean, it's
Well, maybe that's what got him in trouble in the first place.
yeah, and you know what? And then you know what? I don't know. I think maybe the most realistic thing he had was she texted or messaged him or called him 50 times.
Yeah,
It's kind of stalking.
Yeah, that's a little creepy.
Yeah.
I don't endorse that.
At least you can just say, I want to restrain her because she's stalking me. If she keeps calling me, then at least she has to get away from me. But then to say, when you start taking like it's physical and she harmed you.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had 2 steps too far.
Yeah, I would just say she was harassing. Just get her off my property. Call it a day. I wouldn't go with the battery charges. But the bottom line is, Villaseñor obviously got caught with his pants down, and I applaud Gold for intimidating a cage fighter with her mere presence. So we've either found the biggest pansy in the MMA, or we just found the poster girl for the bitch face.
How tall are you, Jacki?
I'm 5'4", and I need those 4 extra inches to be that much scarier.
Well, I know you said it's not in your personality, but could you find yourself, at least now that you see this, like, oh, I can go and stand up against somebody now.
Well, violence is never the answer, but I mean, take on a dude or a girl?
Not necessarily take on, but it's like, she's 5 foot, and she has this in her. From a smaller woman's point of view, is this crazy?
No, I think we all have our breaking points, and every woman has that really scary in her. And I think it's just whatever, I don't know what it is. Like with her, it's obviously the cheating. I think that's probably with a lot of women, but I hope to never find mine. But I think there is a breaking point to where we get to our scary, and that's why we get labeled bitches. In my opinion.
I was gonna say, is this personal?
No, I've never had any kind of experience like this whatsoever. But I don't know. I mean, I kind of understand her point of view. You know, here she is. I mean, who knows what their relationship entailed? It could have been years or months or weeks. Who knows? But I mean, no one likes being cheated on, but I definitely would never advise someone to go to their house and repeatedly call. I would probably just say, just go find somebody else.